No one tells you that aging creeps in, not loud, not sudden, but slow, sharp, silent. It doesn't ask, it doesn't knock, it just shows up in the mirror, in your knees, in the way you forget why you walked into a room. At first, you laugh it off. Then one day it hits different. You wake up sore, but you didn't train. You eat the same, but your body holds it differently. You walk slower, you process slower, you recover slower. And for a moment, you wonder if you're slipping. You think of who you used to be, how you used to move, how you used to feel in the morning, in your clothes, in a room full of people. And suddenly, you're aware of time, of loss, of silence. But listen close. You're not falling apart. You're just changing. This isn't failure. This is transition. Not collapse, but recalibration. You're still here, but life isn't asking you to be the same. It's asking you to soften, to slow, to notice what youth ignored, to hold what the young rush past. Every wrinkle is proof of laughter that stayed. Every ache, a signal that you showed up again and again. The world tells you to fight it, resist it, deny it. But maybe it's not something to conquer. Maybe this is the beginning of a different kind of strength. One that doesn't rush, doesn't prove, doesn't need to be seen. So if you're feeling it, let it in. Let the body slow down. Let the image shift. Let time reshape you without panic. You're not decaying, you're arriving to the part of life where truth finally speaks louder than speed. And that is where we begin. It starts subtle. A tight joint, a slower climb, a stretch that lasts longer than it should. Then it stays. The soreness, the shortness of breath, the sense that your body no longer belongs to you. You wake up, already tired. You bend, and something cracks. You stand, and something pulls. The recovery isn't the same. The mirror isn't either. And in that silence, a question forms. Is this me? Fading? But here's what the body never tells you, and the mind forgets. You are not your pain. You are the one who keeps moving, even through it. The Stoics never feared pain. They called it a messenger, not an enemy, a signal that you are still alive. This body, it was never made to last, only to carry, and it's carried you through fights, through fears, through joy you forgot to write down. It breaks now because it's been used, fully, bravely, beautifully. Your back cracks? Good, it's been strong. Your vision blurs? Good, you've seen enough. Your skin folds? Let it tell the story of movement, of memory, of miles walked without regret. You were not made to stay sharp forever. You were made to become deep, and depth is born through time. So let it break, let it creak, let it speak, but don't confuse the shell with the soul. What ages is skin, what endures is you. There comes a moment where beauty fades, where youth steps back, where the world stops looking at you the way it used to. And for a second, you feel invisible. But maybe that's the gift, not a curse. Because now, you don't have to impress, you don't have to glow, you don't have to chase the spotlight just to be seen. You can finally be without the noise, without the performance, without the tight mask of I'm fine. The Stoics never worshiped perfection. They didn't need symmetry or status or smooth skin to feel complete. They knew perfection is fragile, but presence is eternal. The younger you fought to be noticed, to be sharp, to be wanted. The older you just want peace. You want to sit without pretending, to speak without explaining, to walk into a room and not perform. That's dignity, not decay. That's depth, not decline. Let the pace slow, let the face change, let the world chase the new. You stand still. You are no longer the loudest, but you are the clearest. You no longer want to lead the crowd. You just want to walk in truth. And that's what aging gives. The grace to not need praise. The power to walk away. The wisdom to know that nothing shiny ever stays shiny for long. So sit taller, even if your spine curves, speak less, even if your voice shakes, because what remains is real, and real doesn't age. You forget more now, names, dates, why you walked into the room. You repeat a story, only to realize you've told it already. You lose a word mid-sentence, you stop mid-thought, and for a second, you feel fragile. But here's what you need to know. Forgetting doesn't mean losing, it means filtering. The mind keeps what matters and lets go of the noise. You remember less, but what you remember hits deeper. Not facts, but feelings. Not numbers, but moments. The younger brain chases speed, the older brain seeks meaning. The younger you wanted to know more. The older you just want to know what's true. The Stoics didn't care to memorize books. They practiced recalling themselves, not facts, but values, not quotes, but clarity. They knew a sharp memory is useful, but a still mind is wisdom. So let the memory fade, let the recall take its time, let the mind rest more often. It's not failing, it's selecting. And what stays, that's who you really are. You might forget a name, but you remember the feeling they gave you. You might forget the place, but never the lesson you learned there. You don't need to remember everything. You just need to remember what's real. What kept you kind, what taught you silence, what broke you, and what built you after. Memory fades, that's life. But wisdom stays. In your voice, in your pause, in the way you now look at pain and no longer panic. That is not loss, that is evolution. You care less now, not because you're cold, but because you've seen enough. You don't rush to answer, you don't beg to be understood, you don't panic when they leave, you just breathe. And somewhere along the way, you realize this is peace. When you were younger, everything felt urgent, every opinion mattered, every room had to like you. Now, you just want to leave with your silence intact. The Stoics called it apathy, not indifference, but detachment from things that don't deserve your fire. They knew the more you try to control how others see you, the less control you have over yourself. So now, you let people think what they want. You stop chasing closure. You stop explaining your boundaries. You just live. Quiet, firm, unshaken. It's not that nothing matters, it's that not everything does. That's not giving up, that's growth. You smile less, but mean it more. You speak less, but say what cuts through. You don't attend every argument you're invited to. You don't respond to every provocation. You choose your peace over your pride. They call it grumpy, you call it clear. They say you've changed. You say, finally, you no longer need to win, to be right, to be chosen. You only need to walk away from anything that doesn't let your soul rest. So no, you don't care like you used to. And that's the gift, the quiet one, the one that says, you've earned the right to stop performing. So this is aging, not loud, not tragic, just quieter. You lose speed, but gain stillness. You lose names, but remember essence. You lose mirrors, but meet yourself. This isn't decay, it's realignment, a slow return to what never ages. The Stoics never feared time. They feared waste, they feared noise, they feared living by the wrong compass and only realizing it too late. So now, you move slower, but more sure. You feel deeper, but react less. You laugh, and don't need to explain why. You see, the world told you to fear the fall, to chase youth, to run from wrinkles. But no one told you that the further you go, the less you need, not praise, not attention, not mission. Age isn't a thief, it's a mirror, stripping what was never truly yours. So what's left is real. So don't mourn what left, bow to what stayed. Not the body, not the memory, but the flame, that tiny light that didn't die. Even in silence, let the world keep chasing. You arrived. And maybe now, you finally see you were never supposed to stay young. You were supposed to grow whole.